Is it a myth that we can cast our ballot and actually choose the president of the United States? It is a myth. Everybody see this? Again, this is one of the great religions of the United States. Now, is this just one party of presidents? So this is a Republican, this is a Democrat, this is a Republican, this is a Democrat, and I believe he was a Democrat. These are all the presidents. Now, the religion of politics in the United States, it teaches us that if we cast our ballot and vote for the president, that our ballot is actually going to change the present condition of the nation. Now, is that true? Are those doctrines of the religion of politics, are these things true? No, they're not. Because again, the Bible says that the two-horned beast would exercise all the power of the first beast. Now, in Roman Catholicism, do the common people elect the leader of the institution? No, they don't. This says politics is a dirty business and it should stay that way. Now, mind you, is this taken from conspiracy theory news outlet? This is taken from the Washington Post. You see, people that are in the higher echelons of society, they realize that politics is a dirty business. But people believe that in order for politics to function, that it needs to stay as a dirty business. All right, we're going to go past this. This says the myth of fair elections in America. So again, is it a myth that we can cast our ballot and actually choose the president of the United States? It is a myth. It is a myth. Now, this was a man by the name of Anthony Cyril Sutton, a very brilliant researcher during the 20th century. Notice what he wrote in a book called America's Secret Establishment. This says, what then is the function of a parliament or a Congress for Hegelians? So what Anthony Sutton is communicating to us, he's going to teach us the purpose of elections for the ruling elite. This says these institutions are merely to allow individuals to feel that their opinions have some value. So the only reason why we are given permission to vote is to feel that we are actually contributing to the nation. And this says, number two, to allow the government to take advantage of whatever wisdom the peasant may accidentally demonstrate. So the ruling elite just merely see us as peasants. Now, do you think that this comes from the mind of man, or does this come from the mind of Satan? This comes from the mind of Satan. All right, now everybody see this. Now, this is a symbol of what? This is a symbol of 9/11. Now, again, I don't smile nor chuckle because it's funny. I chuckle because it's so tragic. You see, when you really study the real mechanisms of this nation, if it was not for the grace of God, you'd be given to total despair. Now, we were told that rogue terrorists hiding out in the mountains of Afghanistan hijacked the most sophisticated defense system in the history of mankind and drove planes, Lord have mercy, and they drove planes in, Lord. And they flew the planes into the Twin Towers. And as a result of that, we had to engage in something called a war on terror, in which we spent trillions of dollars in order to defeat the terrorists. Now, was that the truthful account of history? No, it wasn't. All right, this says, it is not hard to see where America is going. The September 11th attacks shifted and accelerated, notice, but did not fundamentally alter a course the United States was already on. Family, even if the 9/11 attacks did not take place, the U.S. would still have invaded the Middle East. That was still going to take place. 9/11 was merely the justification for the attacks. Now, somebody says that this is just a conspiracy theory. Why are you not teaching the Bible? Brothers and sisters, does the Bible say these same things? Does the Bible say that there is spiritual wickedness in high places? Yes, it does. This says Western governments are similarly using the war against terrorism to curb civil liberties and to erode international law. This says when it is at least partly a creation of our U.S., Saudi, Pakistan, and Britain's making, we're actually going to find out tomorrow that the United States creates a vast majority of the terrorism that it says that it's fighting against. This says the Roman Church state devised much of the theory on which 20th century totalitarian regimes are based, as well as acting as a model for them. This says these are also the things that have characterized the theory and practice of the Roman Church state for what? For centuries. Now, does anybody know who this is? This is a man by the name of Mike Mulvaney. He was Donald Trump's chief of staff during his first term from 2017 to 2021. Notice what Mike Mulvaney said. Now, mind you, where is Mike Mulvaney giving this presentation? What does that say? The National Catholic Prayer Breakfast. This says Trump's chief of staff, Mike Mulvaney, says that faith is driving many administration policies. Now, is that a scary thought to think? This man is saying that his Roman Catholic religion is driving many of the foreign and domestic policies of the Trump administration. Now, do you think that Roman Catholicism in its principles has any place in the US government? It has no place. Now, does anybody know what this is a symbol of? Yes, this is a symbol of something called the Knights of Columbus. Anybody ever heard of the Knights of Columbus? Notice this. This is taken from a book called Romanism, A Menace to the Nation. The Knights of Columbus, founded at New Haven, Connecticut. It says they work in collusion with the hierarchy. This fact is well known to political machines and non-Catholic politicians who candidates must receive the approval of Rome and the Knights before they dare nominate them for either dog pound or what? Now, mind you, this was written in what year? So even back in 1912, it was being documented that if a person wanted to be the commander-in-chief of the United States, that they needed the approval of the Roman Catholic institution. Now, does the Bible say the same thing? Yes, it does. Now, let's read in verse number 12 again of Revelation chapter 13. Revelation chapter 13. We're going to read in verse number 12. It says, and he exerciseth on the power of the first beast what? Before him. Now again, what is the first beast before the second beast of Revelation 13? This is the Roman Catholic institution. So if the second beast is exercising the power of the first beast, who is really in control of the second beast? The first beast. Does that make sense? All right, so it says, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders so that he make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Notice, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had a wound by a sword and did live. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.